Hi. Hello. How are we all? Barry, how are you? How's things? If anyone else is lurking, how's things? How are you? Yeah, I hope you're all doing well. Hello, hello, hello. You had work today, right? I hope work was okay. Bleh. Bleh. Grim. I've been doing nothing today. Pretty normal, that's good. Pretty normal is good. I think. Guess what though? Oh god, what? What? What happened, Barry? Did the lift break by any chance? Something like that, probably. Do tell. What has happened? I do know that, yes. What has Don Paulo done? What has he offered you? What's happening? Don Paulo approached me and was like, so are you free till during the week now? What, like, in general? Or, like, just this week? Ooh, what? Whoa, I need more info. What? What? There's loads of stock that's going to be sent to other stores. Yeah, okay, yeah. Right, I see, okay. So that's going to need people in to sort through the stock and skip it up. Wants me in during the week to either process that or cover him while he does it, and it's rather urgent. Right. Okay, great, love that. I mean, I know I'm weighing in on a conversation that's already happened, but if you don't want to, fucking don't. Fucking do not. But, like, yes, what's happened then? Are we doing it? Yeah, no, for real. Like, the actual timing that you've had. 2 shifts so far at the new job, right? 2 shifts, and then he's like, right, hours. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, Don Paulo. Why are you like this? Why are you like this, Don Paulo? That's going to be pain, though, to process that. I wonder what that's going to involve. Oh, it's... Don Paulo operates on Sod's Law. He really does. I'm going to bestie go on. Yes, yes. Oh, right. Okay. Understood. Let's not discuss this on Twitch streams, but understood, Barry. Understood. Okay. Say less. Got it. Of course he's done this, though. Are you like... So, are you doing stuff? Are you in more this week? Is that a thing that's happening now? Sorry. Oh, Don Paulo. Don Paulo, really? Really? Can't even offer it now. Like, that's going to be such a pain, though, on a real level, because I know what it's going to be, that somebody's going to say, oh, send this bit of stock to this store and this bit over there and this bit over there. Like, that is going to actually suck to do. Hi, Pa. Hello. How are you, friend? How is things? Can't even tell me then. What do you want? I know. Honestly, though. Honestly. I wonder if he's going to get me in more hours. Like, to cover him, perhaps. I mean, if you want the more money, go get the more money. You're good. I'm glad. Good. Ooh, playing some Zelda. Yeah, you've got Echoes of Wisdom, right? Yeah. I hope you're still enjoying it. That sounds fun. Yeah. But no, of course he's done that. Of course he has. Look at what he tries to give me if I don't want to do somewhat any. That's fair, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying you and I should coordinate and be like, yes, deploy snow to cover this morning shift, and then I'll just do my afternoon as well, you know. You're welcome to just say no and not involve me at all, but like, I mean, we were talking about this, me and our security guard were talking about this, you know, when he had that absolute nightmare on Friday, because I noticed that on Thursday, because like, you know, and I said to the security guard, like, I don't know about this, but like, everyone was in that day, like, everybody was already in, except you. And I was like, so he's got to ask you then, surely. Because there's nobody left anymore. There's nobody still employed at this business. That nightmare you fully slept through. You just slept soundly through it. Truly. Truly. But that was his own fault. That was his own fault. No. Nuh-uh. I feel every time I end stream, I'm like, oh my god, I forgot to tell this story on stream. Like, multiple stories, and I can't remember now. I can't remember what any of them were. Oh, I had to fight some sarcasm. I had to really, really strain to keep some sarcasm inside of me the other day. Oh, it was rough. I'll go in a minute. To be fair, I didn't mention it today. I was glad. Like, a little embarrassing. We just sleep. That's so fair though, and I mean, you got another job. Like that's fair. The post-work nap, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, no. So, story time. I'm looking for a prop. There you go. There's a prop. Nope, I've got my address on it. That's not the prop. Why does everything have my address on? Probably because they're envelopes, the things I picked up. Okay. Right. So, in my store, we sell lots of envelopes and packing supplies, right? And so I was there on Friday doing my little job, and this guy comes over with an envelope. This is an envelope. Yes. It was a Jiffy bag, which I assume they're called Jiffy bags everywhere in the world. This music's a bit loud, sorry. Group it down. Okay, so he comes over with his Jiffy bag. It's like a size 5 Jiffy bag, just like a padded envelope, right? And he puts it down in front of me on the table, and he goes, "How big is that?" How big is that? Well, because it says size 5 on it, but how big is size 5? Oh, the urge within me to go, it's that big. That's how big it. This is the thing. That's how big it. Whoa. Like, on a real level, I get that he like had measurements of a package that he needed to send, but like, just bring the package with you and see if it fits it. I fully understand his position, but the urge within me to just go, it's that big. That is how big it is. It's this big. No. And then, because he's got 2-dimensional measurements for what's going to fit in it, but when he puts something in it, it's going to, like, compress at the sides to fit it in. Oh, just bring the thing in with you. What are you doing? Just bring it in. Let's not do this. He started on that. Just what? On customers or on packaging or what? Why is that a different colour? That's so weird. I often wonder how these people worked. If these people have worked in retail, because I swear to God, we do not get paid to know intricate details of every product. Yeah, no. No, I know. Grim, it just... The absurdity of that question, how big is this? This thing that he's holding. Like, that is how large it is. Come on. No, nuh-uh. You're so shocked when you don't know the exact specifics of a random item. I know. Oh, on a similar vein, someone came in looking to ship some big, massive thing. Like, my arms have gone off the camera, but some big, massive thing. And they were looking for a box for it, and we don't have boxes that big. So they were like, well, what do you suggest we do then? That's a you problem. I don't know. I can sell the boxes we've got. I've no idea what you're going to do about sending your massive, massive object. People, honestly. Honestly. No, to be fair, everybody was nice. Like, all the people that I've had recently, I think, have been, like, nice-ish. I can't remember the last real stinker customer I had. Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Never mind. I know, trying to make their problems our problems. Like, I don't know. I've got nothing for you. Nope. Oh yeah, Berry. It's Giraffe Day at the other store, the other local store today. I wonder how it went. I was going to check actually, see if there was anything on any sources. Let me actually have a look. I meant to do this like ages ago and I didn't. Giraffe Day, yeah. But nobody wore the giraffe because absolutely not. So I'll Google it on here because that'll be easier. I mean, respectfully, I don't know how well it's going to do. And I want no part of it, so, you know. Which only the worst for this business investment. Oh, there's an Instagram post for it. It's got 7 likes. That says a lot. I'm not seeing anything from the direct thing. Any time, past week, sure. No, okay. And let me just check Twitter, just in case anything's gone up on there. Oh, fuck you, Twitter. Sorry, I know this is riveting content for you to watch. Let's see. Oh, there's nothing on Twitter. Looks so crap. No, stinky. There's nothing about it online. It looks so weird. I'm seeing like photos of it in other stores. Oh my god, I have to send Barry, I have to send you a photo right now. I'm so sorry. Okay. Right, shall we, rather than just sit here watching me on my phone, making your stream regular Chocky Milk, love that for you. Oh, sorry, I picked up my drink and my coaster came with it. Right then, yes. Shall we play some video game? Shall we do that? Because that could be fun. So, I've announced what I'm going to do, and it's in the title. I don't need to say any of this, but I'm going to start a new island on Animal Crossing. For fun. I want to do this. So, that's the plan. For anyone that has not played Animal Crossing or hasn't started a new island in a very long time, what it does is it gives you a choice of 4 island layouts, right? And so if we get into it and they give us the 4 layouts and the 4 layouts stink, we're closing the game and restarting it. And then also, as a second rule, if we then find a design we like and we get to the island, if it's peaches on the trees, no, it's gone. Those are my rules. And I think maybe if it's got cherries as well, I might give it the kick, because I don't want. Oh, this is an investment. I'm going to invest so much of my time into this, potentially. Let me stop the music. I cannot stop the music. It's actually not stopping. Probably the controller's messing it up. Let me see. Yep, that's done it. It was the controller. Right. I don't know why you're hearing Windows noises. It's nothing to do with how I'm playing the game. Right. You can't see, but the logo is behind my webcam. The loading logo, I mean, sorry, is behind my webcam. No, of course not. Good evening. We're so excited to have you here. Let us be the first to congratulate you on your wise decision to sign up for this adventure. Welcome to the check-in counter for your deserted island getaway package. There's so much to look forward to, but first let us introduce ourselves. I'm Timmy with Nook Inc. And I'm Tommy. We'll be flying to the island to help you get settled. Think of us as your partners. We're in for the long haul. So let's get started, shall we? The first step is checking your application. Is this the first time you're applying for one of our packages? I'll say yes, it is. Understood. Now then, we need to look up your application. Can we have your name and birthday? I know how to spell. I know, 2020 nostalgia. Just as a reminder, by the way, you cannot change your name on Animal Crossing. I made a mistake when I named myself, but oh well. Okay, let's note the world of Animal Crossing is welcome to all, so don't include personal info or offensive words. 10th of June. It is. Snow. Let's see. Oh, yes, here you are. Our next step will be to take a picture of you, Snow. Don't worry, take as much time as you need to get yourself looking just the way you want. We'll be ready when you are. Oh, I'm pale as fuck. I think that's a bit far, but I'm pale as fuck. Oh, I only have 8 hair. Oh, wow, I have 8 haircuts. Yep, that's me then. Yeah, I'll go for it. I'll go for the wings. Those eyes are very colourful. Okay. Do not remember those being the options back then. What? The hairstyles? Hello, Blair. Hello. How are you? I've always been a triangle nose. No. How's it going? It's going well. It's going well. How are you? Oh, you had a nappy nap. Very nice. Very nice. Yes, that looks good. Great, you're all set. I'll just go ahead and add that picture to your records. And now, let's start talking about your new home. How so exciting. You see, we're quite proud of the work we've done to help you feel comfortable in your new life. Oh yes, in fact, if you want, you can even experience the seasons the same way you're used to them. What I mean is, we have islands in both the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. We recommend choosing an island that has the same seasonal pattern as your current home. So tell me, Snow, where do you live now? I live that's a bit presumptuous. North America or literally anywhere else. I live elsewhere. Oh, seems a lot of folks live elsewhere. Let's see if we can narrow it down. Eura. Ah, excellent. That information really helps us focus on just the right island for you. So naturally, we'd recommend you relocate to an island in the Northern Hemisphere. Everywhere else is very broad. A few more decisions, but does that sound okay so far? It sounds good. Very good. We have a number of lovely uninhabited islands in the Northern Hemisphere to choose from. Now then, all of our islands are approximately the same size and they're all quite natural. So don't worry about whether you'll have enough space and comfort. Are you American or irrelevant? Honestly. I just realised I should Google. Because don't they ask me like personality questions in a minute? Do they do anything? Do they affect it, I mean? I don't think this is right. No, I've read something that's completely wrong. Apparently it doesn't matter. Why is the internet not helping me? Okay, yeah, they don't affect anything at all, apparently. Okay, it's completely random. Cool. Just follow your instincts and choose an island with a layout that looks appealing. That's how I do it. I'll show you some maps now and you can choose the best one for your new home. Okay. So. Lessons I've learnt from my original island is you don't want the airport too close to the don't want the airport too close to your Resident services, because you can't move that. I think if you have both river mouths at the bottom of the map, it makes it a bit too cramped. So that's not good. I personally do like a dock on the right-hand side over the left-hand side. So I do have a favourite of these. Oh, although... Ooh. Because another thing I like is a big peninsula. The big little island penis you've got. Like that thing just above me right now. That's a big one. All the others have little ones. And yeah. Right, genuinely that just came out of my mouth. I don't know where it came from. But we're going to roll with it. So, I'm torn between number 1 or number 4. That's a new one. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Because the only difference is really is resident services is off to the side versus right in the middle. I think number 1. I think number 1, you know. I'm getting better vibes off number 1 than number 4. Yeah, let's do that. I was thinking 1, okay. I was thinking 4 at first, but I've been put off by the island penis. And there was something else. Oh, the rocks, yeah. I like big rocks that you can walk on, which number 1 seems to have one on the left and one on the right. Yeah, I'm going to go for number 1. Do it. And then again, if we've got peaches on the trees, I'm still resetting. Wonderful choice. I can't wait to show it off to you. But before we depart, I have one final question for you. If you could only bring one thing with you to a deserted island, what would it be? I would bring... I think I'd bring some food. It looks like in the chat box, Barry, it looks like you've just said cozy to kill time. Oh, it's gone. Oh. That would be the logical answer, it would, wouldn't it? There you go, yeah, to kill time. What's the funniest emote? Oh, no, I know what I'm doing. Cozy till time is such a mood. Okay, but I raise you. Thank you. Yeah, no, love that for me. Okay. I bet you would, yes. Okay, I'm doing some food. How interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, that was just a hypothetical question. Nook Ink will fully cover all of your basic needs. Yes, yes. Your attention, please. More than just... Nice. The chartered flight for Nook Inc.'s Deserted Island Getaway Package is ready for boarding. Any customers waiting to board should make their way to the gate at this time. Ah, perfect timing. Come on, let's board the plane together. Then don't we get the trailer for the game that we're already playing? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking this chartered flight as part of Nook Inc.'s Deserted Island Getaway Package. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy a complimentary video presentation about Deserted Island life. It's the theme music! Oh, Fauna. Cute. A Nook Inc. production. I hope my airport's not orange. I don't think I'd reset for it, but please don't be orange. Or yellow. And I'm summoning apples. Cherries, okay. Not a big fan, but I can roll with cherries. Moment of truth. And if my first two villages are ugly as fuck. Oh no, they're okay. But it is an orange airport. Okay. We're here. Now I know you must be incredibly excited to explore your new island home, but I have one small request. Would you please join us for a short orientation session in the nearby plaza? Our fearless leader himself will be giving a presentation, so I'd hate for you to miss it. We're headed there right now if you'd like to move the stick to follow us. I know how it works, yeah. Is that... Who are you? Sheldon, okay. And you? Oh, your face is weird. Okay, what do we think? Because now I'm seeing it, I'm not opposed to an orange airport and an orange plane. I'm not mad at it. Do you mean you'd reset Berry to get... Not Berry, Blair. Would you reset to get cherries, do you mean? Or because of cherries you'd want to reset? Do it, bestie, do it. Let's all get back into Animal Crossing. Let's do it. Yes, yes. You want cherries. I don't know that I do, you know. Oh, I can't save. Okay. Everyone you've ever had, you've had cherries. I mean, everyone I've ever had, I've had apples, so... Yeah, there you go. I've had only one, so... But still, yeah. Okay, let me do a little explore. Have a little nose of my surroundings. Okay, good. We have a broad island penis. And we have a rock pool. Okay. Barry, please dust off your island. Let's do this. Let's make this a thing. What I don't know what to do, because like really, you know, really, I can just cut all the cherry trees down. Barry, do you mean you've, like, put lots of time into it, or... Or, what do you mean? But yeah, no, realistically, I can cut the cherries down. I'm attached to it, but the thought of trying to do anything to fix how ugly it is mentally draining. That's... sad. I mean, you've seen my island, though. Like, I put in the work. There you go, I can skid. Whee! Whee! But on another slightly real level, I can't visit other people, so I don't quite know how I'm gonna, you know, get more fruits, because I don't have Nintendo Switch Online. Oh, island decoration is the top of mine. Museum, that's fair. I never got there with the museum. I did the fossils, but that's it. That's all I did. Do I have the DLC? Yes, I do have the DLC. Well, I think I do. Because you're a completionist. That's fair. Well, I'm a completionist as well. But not Animal Crossing. I can't be fucked. Like Zelda, I'll find 900 Korok seeds, but I'm not gonna wait in the rain in June off the dock to catch a fish. I can't be fucked. I don't care to do that. Can you? Okay. Good to know. Thanks for sharing. Okay, we have got tulips, though. Tulips are on my island. That's news, because I do love me some tulips. Anybody see my second flower type? I can't. All I can see are the tulips. Well, I can buy them off Leaf. I'm stuck in the 2020 thought process of, like, before Halves Island, where you're really locked in, like, it actually does affect you what, like, your airport colour is and what flowers you have. But with the, Cap'n and... I think I'm going to keep this island. I think I'm keeping it. Anybody opposed to me keeping the island, speak now, or shut up. Ooh, actually, how close is it to the water? Hold slightly. No, you can't. I mean, like, you know, you can go to Halves Island to change what colour, like, other items you have, like street lamps was the big one for me. I wanted brown street lamps, I think, and all I could ever get was black ones. Or maybe it was the other way. I think it was that, though. And you can tell what colour of everything you're going to get because of your airport, but now you've got Halves Island, it doesn't matter quite so much. Right. That is game-changing, yeah. This is my fear with this island, is what am I going to put here? What is going to go in this space? Yeah, no, I wanted brown ones for me. Brown ones or nothing for me was... Oh, it was everything. Wait, because I can't go online. I can't get custom designs. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's a wounder. Okay. Noted. No custom designs. Apart from ones I do myself, I mean. Oh, that's a bit sad, isn't it? I know, truly, though. Yeah, no, that was shit. Hi, Sabine. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. We're just Sabine, we're just deciding whether, well, I'm just deciding whether to reset the island or not. Because I've got an orange airport and I've got cherries on the trees. And I'm not sure if resident services is too close to the water. Those are my only concerns. Hi, Saheen. Hello. Yes, Saheen. No. Gotta work tomorrow, so you can't stay the whole stream, but you can't miss the new ad. That's no worries at all. I feel like I like a lot of this island, but perhaps not all of it. That's kind of what I'm thinking, Sabine. The thing that I don't know about, I can change most things, but I can't change how small this distance is. What am I going to put here? Because short term, I can put Nook's Cranny here, and that's so okay. But long term, it's an awkward space. It is very close to the beach. But I have made small spaces work before. Never seen it that close. Ooh. I mean, mine was very close to the front on my original island. It was very close to the front. Okay, I'm going to talk to Nook. This is what I'm going to talk to Nook. And then he's going to give me the phone, and I'm going to review my island map again. Hello. Alright, is that everyone? Let's see. Is Kat here? Hello. And how about Sheldon? And there's Snow, of course. Great, we're all here. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Nook. Our 3 adventurers are ready to get started. I'm not 100% sold on them, Sabine. Like, I think they're both going to get kicked off the island eventually. Respectfully, they're gone, but you know. Yes, very good. Let's see, how shall I begin? Yes, of course. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to your new island. My name is Tom Nook, and I'm the founder and president of Nook Inc. Yes. But, oh yeah, for sure. It's not like fucking truffles. Today is the first day of your new island life on this pristine, lovely island, so congratulations. And this is a package deal. As such, Nook Inc. staff will always be here to support you and ensure your comfort and safety. But first things first, yes. I'd like each of you to choose a spot of your own. It's the first step to putting down some real roots here. I'd like you to dream big. I do have certain connections in construction and real estate. Truffles, right. Truffles became a virus on my Animal Crossing. Because I got truffles and I hated truffles. And then I believe one of my friends, my old flatmate, came and visited my island and spoke to Truffles. And then Truffles came to their island. And it was fucked because both of us hated Truffles. And I believe the same thing happened to Blair with Al, I think. That was not fun. She's something. Oh, yeah. You had that with Riz. There's a villager called Rizzo. What the fuck is that? No. Nuh-uh. Okay. Let's get started with a simple tent. Please collect your tent from Timmy or Tommy, then choose a spot to place it. We sent Al back and forth by accident, we really did. Here you go, Snow. Your very own tent. Thanks, Tommy. Once you find the perfect spot, press X to access your inventory, then select tent to place it. Don't worry, you'll get a chance to see what it looks like. You want a little breathing room, so take your time finding a space that works for you. Suppose I should set you up with a map too. Yes, please. Once you put up your tent, please find your way back here. Use your new map if you need it. Also slaying the pineapple button up, thank you. Wait. Oh, there's the map. Oh, I see. Right. My only real worry is how close resident services is to here and to the river mouth. But I think I can make it work. Yeah, it'll work. It'll be alright. Okay. So I want to put my tent over here, I think. Yeah, no, for sure. Where was I was thinking here, but I'm going to need you to get out the way. Yo, I'm Sheldon. You're Snow, right? Nice to meet you, Cardio. So, find a good place for a tent? I'm looking to pitch behind something close to nature so I can train my body and my soul. Oh yeah, for sure. Right, I want to put it like here, I think. I think this is a good flattish space. Sheldon has a unique face. Let me imagine it. Yeah, that's cute, isn't it? That's cute. Yippee! You're hoping unique forehead lady would come in today. She didn't. Okay. So, my first tent. That's a big first step. I am excited for you to see unique forehead lady again. Oh, Sheldon's buggered off. Fantastic. Already set up your tent. I'm trying to find the perfect spot. I'll find you a spot. You'd help me find a sweet spot to put this tent? Seriously? Wow, we just met and you're already doing some heavy lifting on our friendship, Snow. Okay then, can't wait to see the epic spot you pick out. Also, friends, I need you to get thinking. What are we calling the island? Right, I think you can go here. Oh shit, yeah. I was thinking. So I'm going to knock on your door 3 times. He truly is. He truly is. Quality reference. Thank you for that. Also, hello. Welcome in. Oh, it needs to go forward a space. I was thinking, could we think of something Leighton themed? But, like, Saint Mystere is going to be way too long. Or Mystalery is going to be too long. What's the one... Wait, what's the one in the second game? Falsons. Oh, I can't call it Falsons. That's weird. How am I? I'm doing good, though. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well as well. Altava Island. Ooh. Wait, oh my god. When I can start changing villager catchphrases. Oh, it's gonna pop off. Oh my god. I think that's good. But yes, I hope you're doing well as well. Thank you for stepping in. Yippee! And then, where's the other one? I've already forgotten. Your name. There you are. Fine, been to a Japanese restaurant for the first time. Nice. See, I think Cat's got an unfortunate face. I'm not sure. Wait, I got it. Don't tell me. You're Snow, right? See, told you I had it. I'm Cat. I gotta tell you, I'm excited to do this whole island thing. Pretty unique indeed, yeah. You already found a good spot, huh? I was trying to just feel the best spot, but I was having trouble because every spot feels like the best one. Couldn't just sit here thinking it over forever, so I grabbed a stick and threw it, and this is where it landed. True with the gold chain. So this is now my spot. Okay, there's only... I know there's only so far I could throw the stick, but I'm liking this. I'll find you a spot. Gonna pick out the perfect spot for me? You'd do that for someone you just met? You know, you're alright, Snow. In that case, here you go. It's your show now, pretty. You go pick out the perfect spot for that tent. Gonna go wait in the plaza, okay? I think next to the little pond. Wait. Yeah, no, next to the pond's fine. That's too close to the pond. Nope. Like, maybe in these trees. That would be sick. Nope. Oh, it's always going to be... Oh, the trees aren't the right distance apart. And it's going to delete a tree anyway, isn't it? Let me imagine it, sure. Happy your mum loved it too. She can be funny with food she never had before. I kind of feel that. To be honest, I'm funny with food I've never had before. Looks like everyone has a spot picked out for their tent. I need to get back to the plaza. Oh, it's just like TPing me. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you all found just the right spots to set up your new homes. Of course, you can sleep on it for a while. You really need to really get a feel for how it suits you. And with that taken care of, we can move on to more serious business. Like throwing an island warming party. We'll have it right here in the plaza with a roaring campfire. We'll just need a few supplies to get started, yes? Since we'll all be living here together, this will be a good test of our teamwork. Let's see. Timmy, Cat, Tommy and Sheldon can set up things here in the plaza. Meanwhile, Snow and I can work on gathering firewood and perhaps a little snack. Alright everyone, let's get to it. Snow, would you come see me for a moment? Add chicken and spicy sauce for starters, spicy duck ramen for the main, and pancakes with chocolate ice cream for dessert. Ooh, that does sound good. Ah, Snow, just wanted to go over what we'll need for the campfire. I think roughly 10 tree branches should do the trick. You can find them scattered about the island. Why don't you find one laying on the ground? Just press Y to pick it up. Meanwhile, I'll investigate the cherry-like items growing on the trees. I suspect they're real cherries. Are you good? I'd appreciate it if you'd hold on to any weeds you pull up while gathering branches. In the near future, we'll want to buy them from you. Ooh, pineapple coconut cocktail, nice. Well, Timmy or Tommy. Timmy, I think. Pulling weeds is my specialty. As many of you will know because I've told this story about 10 times on stream. What did you say? You said 10, didn't you? We know the weed law yet. Well, don't say it like that, because now all the new viewers will be like, what the fuck? Okay, I have 10 branches, Mr. Nook. Ah, welcome back. I trust you've had success foraging for tree branches. Very well, allow me to lighten your load. Yes, yes, that should be plenty for our campfire. Perhaps, yes, perhaps. I'm quite glad I'll be sharing this desolate island with such a hard worker. A love story from Twilight. And speaking of surveying on a desolate island, our next task is to round up something to snack on. Right, okay, yes. History with weeds. Make sure to leave the S on there, thank you very much. You've had this story, I assume, Berry? I assume you have. Yeah, something to snack on. Stansbury. Where's that? Where's Stansbury? I have, okay, good. While you were collecting branches, I was evaluating the fruit that seems to be abundant here. They look like cherries, they smell like cherries, and they even taste like cherries. In fact, they're 100% without a doubt genuine cherries. So will you collect 6 of them for me? Now, I'm sure you don't need much guidance here, but just in case, be a bit of a spoiler alert. Well, it's going to be one of the main things. Yeah, okay, from Miracle Mask, okay. I was just like, it's going to be Miracle Mask or Azran Legacy. And yes, Miracle Mask, okay. I'm sure you don't need much guidance, but just in case. If you see a tree growing cherries, you can press A to shake it, then just pick up the fruit. I'm sure you'll have plenty of cherries for us all in no time. True, yeah, very true. He wants 12 cherries, really. Oh. Oh, is that a weed I just picked up? Yep, I picked up a weed. A cute little town. The one with the carnival. Is that one? Well, I knew you were the right one for the job. Thank you once again. I'll go ahead and take those cherries off your hands and get started on the preparations. That's the big one. Oh, I don't remember a little one then. I just thought it was all one town. Well, I'll be excited to play it again then. Now, is that everything? Yes, I believe it is. Let's get started with the festivities. Where they grew up. I need to play the game again. Whee! At last, allow me to properly welcome you to your new island. I've participated in many ventures and endeavours over the years, but this may be the most exciting. Yes, okay. Helping develop a thriving new community entirely from scratch will truly test my business acumen. And perhaps my skills as an outdoorsman. I almost never see you outside, Tom Nook. Now, we may not have the kind of numbers that I originally envisioned, but that just means we'll have to rise to the challenge. And I have no doubt that with hard work and perseverance, we'll shape this deserted island into... I suppose we can't call it a deserted island anymore, But what should we call it? Ding dong. I sense a great opportunity. As the first residents of this island, we should be the ones to name it. In the spirit of democracy, we should put it to a vote. Majority rules, So, take a little time to think, and when everyone is ready, I'll present your ideas. I have, yes. I got it on launch in 2020. And I've only ever had one island, so this is my first time replaying it. But yes, I've got an island that I love and I've put so much time into that. Yes, I'm ready to start again. Oh, shall I show my Instagram? Shall we take a second to show my Instagram post of my island? Just because, you know, cute little moments, why not? Side quest. Sorry, I love my island. I'm very passionate about it. I love side quests. Same. So this was my island that, again, I've worked on since 2020. Nice, you had mine, but you deleted it sometimes, but you're too lazy to reset yourself. You had wild ideas despite not forming them. That's fair. Yeah. I put a lot of time into my island to give it a nice, like, theming. Just, yeah. I really love how it turned out. Oh, I need to do more farms and stuff, yeah. But yeah, I love my island. It was very cute. It was such a cute island. Okay, what I'm thinking, as I've literally got it up here, I can, like, tell you all what I'm thinking. But I loved... Oh, I've got no photos of it, really. In the middle of my island, my main section of my island was this bit where I had lots of little islands. I kind of want to do that across a whole island. If I can figure out how to do it, I would be up for giving that a little go. An island, yeah, literally an island of islands is like where my head is at. I would be so down to do it. And to try it and just see what happens. See how it shapes up. Which of course I can't even start until I get terraforming and stuff. So yeah. Right. Oh, I need to charge my phone. Okay, so I need to name my island something. And because I'm me, it needs to be something... It needs to be a reference to a piece of media, because I'm not creative. Does Saint Mystere fit in? Oh, it's ear like that. That's how you spell it. Oh, sure. Right, okay, so I can call it Saint Mystere, but I couldn't have the full stop after ST. Or I could be kind of cute and call it Dropstone. Oh, Monte d'Or was the other place. Yeah, I see, I see. That's from the second game. You know, you go on the train and then you get into the little cute, like farming village. That's Dropstone. Okay, Dropstone does fit. This is tricky. It would fit the vibe. It would fit the vibe, yeah. Sorry, I need a sweet. It's just about fit, I know. I can't add another one, can I? Oh, I can. Okay, one off. What else do I do? What else do I play? Because, like, from pieces of media, all I can really think of is to call it Gotham, and I'm not calling my island Gotham. The bike game, that doesn't have name locations. The space game, those names are fucked. Thank you, though. I appreciate these suggestions. Doctor Who things. Yeah, I could just call it like Gallifrey or something, but I can't think of any cute names because my old island was called Junipero, which is the perfect name. Junipero is perfect. I don't necessarily want to call it the same name again, but I could, honestly. If it was off stream, I would just call it Junipero again. No, it's from Black Mirror. But if you watch the episode, which I would really recommend everybody watch the episode, Junipero 2, Electric Boogaloo. Oh, that's cute. Japanese for sunflower. Nice. I mean, Junipero 2 does fit. I want to call it Junipero. I'm going to be totally honest. I want to call it Junipero. Again. But it's from from a Black Mirror episode called San Junipero. Which, like... Slay. I love San Junipero. I love it so much. Nope, wrong scene. Well, there you go, yeah. Chat box move. Junipero. Like, yeah. I want to call it that. That's not even why, I love the name Junipero. And I love the episode. Where does it say that? Where does it say that? Where have you got that from? Do you think there's going to be a Sonic DC Comics collab? What? That's crazy. Oh, when you Google it. Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. Yeah, on IMDb. When they visit San Junipero, a fun-loving beach town of surf, sun, and sex, their lives changed. Okay, it's not that. It's not like that. It's real cute. The Sonic Girl and you streaming. Barry, have you finished Sonic Frontiers yet? Oh, you're not. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, Bear. Fix that. Fix that, okay? Right, I'm calling it Junipero and nobody can stop me. I'm okay with Junipero. Me too, you don't know what the problem is, that's fair. In Sonic Central, they announced a collab Sonic DC, both Ian Flynn, reference DC Comics. Oh, okay, interesting. Junipero the reboot, yes. All right, is everyone ready? I think, being honest, I think every Animal Crossing island for the rest of my life is going to be called either Junipero or San Junipero. And I can't call it San Junipero in this game because the name is too long. Attempt 2, for what? For Animal Crossing? Are you doing it? Are you doing it? Yeah, Barry, you said you're a completionist, like, not half an hour ago. Explain yourself. But yes, good luck, Blair. Tell me what you do, what you get. Like, your airport colour, tell me your fruits, everything like that. Just as a reminder, you can't come and visit this island. Actually, you don't have Nintendo Switch Online anyway, do you? But, like, it's not possible for us to visit each other's islands, sadly. Okay, your fruits will be cherries. Got you. Got you. Let's try saying our ideas all at the same time. Ready, go! Roxalot, Buffberg, Junipero. I didn't read the others. What a splendid variety. Each a potential gem. You'll reset till you get cherries. Okay. Now for the voting. I'll say each name in order. You can clap for the one you think is best. Snow seems to have the enthusiasm and the naming sensibilities. Let's start there. Let's go for Buffland. Junipero! Wow, that's an overwhelmingly positive response. I suppose if everyone is in agreement. Thank you, Sabine, thank you. We could just go with Junipero. Splendid, then from now on this island will be known as Junipero. Well, Snow, since you've proven yourself by naming it Junipero, I'd like to rely on you for other critical decisions we'll need to make on this island. Oh. Yes, yes, I hereby name you the resident representative of Junipero. Snow, could you please say a word or two as the spokesperson for your neighbours? Thank you. A word or two! So, we've settled on a name for our island and we've selected our resident representative. It's been a big day, but it's gotten rather late, so let's have a toast. Everyone has a beverage in hand? It's fresh juice made from cherries, our new resident representative harvested on this very island. Then, without further ado, a toast to Junipero and the happiness of its residents. Cheers! Whee! I can't dance. Oh, I won't have my dance emotes. Oh, that's a bit sad. Having fun? I'm going to kick off a new workout routine tomorrow, so I'm taking it easy tonight. I miss this, I know. I mean, I've not seen this since 2020. Like, wow. We all just met, but chilling by the fire like this makes me feel like we've been best buds for ages. Ah, Snow, having a good time, yes? I know this is all a bit much, so if you feel like taking a short nap in your tent, by all means go ahead. We'll keep the fire burning. I'm not tired yet. Yes, yes, I should have known you'd have plenty of energy. Well, enjoy the moment. Stop and see me for a quick chat before you turn in. I have something to give you. Junipero, Junipero. What a great name. It just rolls off the tongue. Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, 2 years. Thank you for offering such a wonderful idea to the group. You handled your tasks perfectly. We got a nice campfire going. Oh, and I can't get in because the radio's there. That's clever. There might be a reason for that. Yeah, it might be where my game has come from. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you know what I mean. Must be set of Switch settings. It might be version differences, and I've got a different version to you, perhaps, maybe. But I'll go and talk to Tom. Go on. Ah, Snow, having a good time. Yeah. I'll go do that. Ooh, interesting. Okay. That sounds good to me, but first you'll probably want this. It's your very own camping cot. You'll want to set it up in your tent before you lay down. There's a few packages waiting in your tent as well. Just a few items that might be useful. To open packages and use the things inside, press A. When you're ready, you can move L to crawl into bed. You've got another big day ahead tomorrow, so rest up as much as you can tonight. That's all from me for now. Sweet dreams, Snow. Aw, cute. It's so cozy you're getting EP. Aww. What's that? Oh, a radio. Nice. Right. I think the bed goes here. That's the wrong way around. We fought gods with every element beside wind. Ooh. Interesting. Hello, Lily. Hello. How are you, lovely? How's things? How's the move gone? How's everything? I hope you're doing well. My radio down here, shall I? Drove to IKEA. Ooh. The radio is on. I'll leave it on. No, of course, Lally, of course. Rest my head for a little while? Yes, rest. I'm getting sleepy. Yeah, exactly. It's always good to see you. Nothing IKEA at IKEA. Reset 1. Oh, what did you get, Blair? What did you get? How's everybody? I'm doing good, though. I'm doing good. Yeah. Oh, friends! I should have shown this off a while ago. I'm wearing my Animal Crossing t-shirt. Especially for today. Oranges. I would take oranges. Oranges are my number 2 below apples. I'm trying to find where your Switch is. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's so cute. I know. I love the shirt. Yeah. It's a cute one. Appropriate. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. No, that sucks. Are you still in the unpacking stage as well? Or are you just like have everything everywhere? Right, looks like you've decided to make your own way. Oh, I should do a KK voice, shouldn't I? So, looks like you've decided to make your own way in the world. Get out there, explore new frontiers. Barry, explore new frontiers. Play Sonic Frontiers, yes, yes. Too easy for Switch, but I'm getting Switch gave me itch in your brain. Ooh, excellent. Excellent. We're 75% done, but I don't remember where the essentials, like your Switch, went. Oh, no. That's all the way right, Daddy-O. You don't need to live by anyone else's rules but your own. The world was made for exploring, you know? Living free, being out there, it's a great feeling. I'm here reaching across these new frontiers, truly. You know what? It's probably in the dock. Oh, no. Yeah, but take it from a cat who's been on the road. Being by your lonesome can grind on the soul. The DLC for Frontiers? I think I did. I think. I can't remember now. I played the DLC for this, though. I did play that. Any game you purchased in your degree ended up in the void. Should not be buying these games during uni depression because they didn't get touched. Oh, you know what I did? So it was A-level time, right? Which in the UK are the big exams you take when you're 18. And I was like, I'm studying. I want to get like a new game so I can, you know, have something to like get into. What game did I buy? Celeste. I bought Celeste to get away from stress. Oh, it was... No, I love Celeste, but even I didn't really play the game very much when I first bought it. Like, it was not the time for gaming. Be in and out of lurk to read. No worries. They rewrote the final chapter. I think I saw that, yeah, because originally the boss was not... The final boss was... Combat stress with stress, but in different font, honestly. Ironically, you played so many more games during undergrad than you do now. Yeah. Yeah, that's sad. Okay, you've got to make friends along the way. Rambling this crazy world is Squaresville without some pals. Yeah, man. Friends are where it's at. Hi. Hi, friends. Hi, all of my friends. I appreciate your being here. Friends are where it's at. You don't paint Warhammer, that's true. That's very true. Speaking of rambling, I'm doing a bit of that myself. My bad. Oh, I'm screenshotting that. I mean, I'm pressing the capture button on my Nintendo Switch. That's what I'm doing. Because I'm playing it on my Nintendo Switch. Truly, truly us at the beginning and end of every stream. It's just all of us all stream. Like, if Animal Crossing takes off on this channel, it's going to be such yapping. Such yapping. I was going to ask if I restarted on my Switch. For legal reasons, Lely, yes, that is what I have done. That's what I've done. Yes, yes. I'm playing on Switch. Yes, yes, absolutely. Makes sense how I was late. You guys had started, yeah. It's such a good yap game, truly it is. Maybe it's about time you wake up to your new life. I'm not hardcore. I can never get rid of Junipero, Lel. I can never get rid of it. Oh, but listen up. The rap I just gave you about friends? That's pretty key. You'll dig this island life a whole lot if you share it with some friends. If that's your scene. Yeah, well, I know you love the American accents always, Barry, but, like, it just fits for KK. Yeah. An island paradise with your best pals sounds pretty groovy to me. Cool. When you wake up, you'll be in sync with real time. Dig that island life, and I'll catch you later. Yeah, no, Lel, like, there's restart regrets, but, like I put so much time into, Junipero that no, I can't get rid of that ever, ever, ever. Snow! Are you in there? Oh, I hope I haven't woken you abruptly. I do wish to discuss something with you. Yes, yes, I'll be here when you're ready. Yippee! Ah, there you are. I hope you had a pleasant nap. Excuse me. Oh, well, I suppose it was a bit more than a nap, wasn't it? It's a brand new day. Is it? Okay, you got cherries. Good, good. Isabel just reminded you it's October and that means Halloween and pumpkins, and I just had a crisis of where the fuck did the year go? That's fair. Your airport's blue. Ooh, I want a blue airport. Blue airport's the one I hoped for. It's a brand new day. slept that long? Oh, yes. It's quite normal to be worn out from such a long trip and a major life event. Speaking of which, I have a few more things that you might find useful as you adjust to life in our little paradise. First, you'll need one of these, yes? Plaza might be a bit close, but you're going to see. Okay. Sonic Generations is an old... Well, I say old game. Wasn't that like a 3DS game? Are they like bringing it back out, or is this a new game? Your very own Nook phone. I had these made especially for island residents. So... Yes, Blair? Ah, I want to make sure it's working right, so could you try turning it on for me? Welcome! Yippee! You can kind of see the plaza from the airport, okay. Looks good. Looks like you're getting good reception as well. Hang on, Blair. Important. Is it a straight shot? Like a straight shot? Or is it like one askew? This is important. Because if it's like one askew, reset. They're remaking Sonic Generations console, but with adding Shadow Generation on top. Ah, okay, cool. Okay, feel free to put it away now. Say, Snow, have you ever used a smartphone before? What do you mean? Okay, yes, do that. Sure have. Very good. This should be a breeze for you. In fact, these Nook phones are rather easier to operate than ordinary phones. We simply removed most of the features. Oh. Ah, yes. You was on Suck Your Mum. Okay. Sorry, I realise it doesn't show up in chat when I say things like that. We had a spam bot viewer thing. I think I'm ever gonna not have roaches in your house. Oh no. Ah, yes. There's also a very useful app that contains advice for living here. Normally, this would not be free of charge, but as you're just getting started, consider it an extra bonus. It's called Island Life 101, a message delivery service of sorts. Yep. Oh my, you're quite certain? Well, I suppose figuring out your own way around your new surroundings can be a fun adventure too. Yes, if you change your mind, you can always get the app later at resident services. Alright, that's enough about the app for now. I do have one more thing for you, however. It's your itemised bill! Yay! This includes everything: airfare, accommodations, labour, tax, and of course your Nook phone. Bringing your grand total to a modest sum of 49,800 bells. Okay. Yes. Well then. Wait, you don't have any bells? I can't believe I didn't think of this. Yay, bankruptcy! Gonna head to bed, we'll def watch the VOD. Excited to see you start this new island. Of course, lovely. Have a good sleep. And yes, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, there it is. Ah, I see. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Yes, but night, Sabine. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. Love you. Ah, of course. Well, no need to worry. I was prepared for exactly this type of tricky situation. For the getaway package, you can pay your fee with miles instead of the standard bells. Call this extremely helpful service the Nook Mileage Program. What's that? Oh, I've been there. I work retail as well. I'm not working tomorrow, but most Sundays. Well, every other Sunday, yeah. Well, it's quite extraordinary if I do say so myself. With the Nook Mileage program, you can earn miles by simply living your life here on Junipero. I dare say the more you enjoy your island life, the more Nook miles you can earn. And you can use them to pay back your moving fees and much more. So the bottom line is you need 49,800 bells to pay your moving fees, but with this new service, would you believe it, it only comes to 500 miles. I'll just go ahead and register you so you can pay in miles. Yes, but there are more details available within your Nook phone. Just open the Nook Miles app. And you'll see you've earned some miles just for travelling to the island and joining the program. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get back to a few other matters. But let me heartily congratulate you again on your arrival. I'm so happy to have you as a resident of Junipero and a client of Nook Inc. Truly like a Spider-Man meme. Hazel and Scoot, I don't think I know them. Oh, mine are going to get moved out, for sure. Da, 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 da. My new life is underway. I can do what I want. Woohoo! From now on, island time will match the flow of time in the real world. Do not touch the power button when you see the autosave indicator. You can save and quit after pressing minus. Okay, we have camera. Yes, they'll be saved to the album on the home menu. I'm enrolled in the Nook Mileage program. Earn Nook miles for completing island activities. Then trade those miles for various perks at the Nook stop in resident services. Make the most out of the island. Earn Nook miles. Yippee! I've missed this game. I've really missed it. Oh, rescue service. Okay. So, for Lel, who's arrived more recently, this is my island currently. I've tried to pick one with resident services being quite a distance away. I'm a little bit worried that it's too close to the left-hand side. But we're going to roll with it. Oh yeah, no, it's not the same without everyone playing it, of course. It was like... that won't happen again. The, that it was so perfect when it came out. Change my photo, title, or comments at any time. Cool. Only slightly. You can get custom designs from your 3DS onto this. That's all you can do, really. Oh yeah, Blair, like us playing like getting on Animal Crossing every 3 days on Discord calls to sell fruit. That was peak. That was like peak lockdown for real. Told KK I was feeling laid back and he's gone with KK Synth. I don't know the KK songs well enough, but yes, love that. Oh, and most people know this, but this game's how me and Lely met. Oh, cute. You got cancelled, you got Animal Crossing 2 days after, yeah. Oh yeah, no, you just stole my fruit, yeah. Oh. I don't know what you mean by backwards compatible then. I'll think of a comment when I'm feeling funny, I don't know. Nintendo. Dear Snow, congratulations on your big move. We hope you enjoy New Island life. To celebrate a fresh start, we'd like to give you a gift that's sure to come in handy. Oh, yay. This is a DIY recipe. I wonder how I can memorize it. Ah, no, I don't... No, it doesn't work like that, I don't think. I do wish it got more updates than it did, but I noticed people got burnt out playing. Yeah, that's fair. Let's learn it. Oh, what? Huh? Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to Nook or something. Okay. Oh, they did. They promised updates for longer, but then I think they just, like, bundled sort of everything together in that 2.0 update and threw it at us. I wonder... Oh, do you reckon? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. They did say fuck it and put it all out. I do wonder, though, how quickly after the next Nintendo console launches they're going to drop an Animal Crossing for it. Because they're definitely going to do one after how popular this game was. And I feel like they might want it a little bit... want it on the console sooner to capture all of the cozy gamers. Yep, use the bulletin board. Cool. Oh yeah, it was going to be 2019, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that. Wonder if it'll come out day one. I feel like it. I feel like they'll launch with Mario just for the brand recognition. But then I think Animal Crossing is going to come quite quickly. Oh yeah, no, I did. Blair was locked into this game. Well, saying that, I joined an Animal Crossing Discord cult, and we went off and did favors for people for free. So you know. It's been confirmed but not explained. It said, I think the most they've said is a new Nintendo console will be announced this financial year, which means by the end of next March. That's what we've been told. Yeah. I mean, there's been leaks of what it's going to allegedly be, but, you know. Speculation. I don't have the money for a new console. Right, I have savings for a new console, but I don't have earnings for a new console. That's the problem that I have. Like I could buy it, but like, you know, we'll see. I thought they said end of this year announcements. I think they said end of financial year is the thing that they said, because it was a bit like shareholdery. It was a bit like yeah, it was. I don't think it was getting yeah, oh yeah, no, for sure. The fiscal year, yeah. Your savings went on the car, so they want to wait on fine. That's fair. You don't spend it on Warhammer, oof. Yeah. Ah, Snow, welcome. As you can see, it's quite cozy in here. It's funny how cozy doesn't always mean comfortable, Let me know if you need advice on how to spend your time on the island or anything else. Need some advice, you should talk to me. He can help you procure some essentials for thriving on our little paradise. Want to earn some bells? He has a rather generous policy of purchasing just about anything. Not strictly advisable from a business perspective, but quite generous, yes. Oh, one more important thing. Offering a free DIY workshop so you can really build out your island experience. I think it would be quite useful, so I do hope you take me up on it. What would you like to talk to me about? I'm all ears. Yes, the DIY workshop. Each participant will make and keep their own tools and receive a set of DIY recipes. I think it would be quite useful for Island life. Shall we put you down for the next available session? I'd love to. Yes, that's the spirit. I happen to be free right this moment, so let's get started. Welcome to my DIY workshop. I suppose workshop is overselling it a bit. You see how simple it is to understand DIY or do it yourself, you'll understand what I mean. The basic idea is to gather materials, follow a recipe, and then craft using a workbench like this one. So today we'll be constructing a fishing rod, using common materials you can find anywhere. For this particular recipe, we require a mere 5 tree branches. It is admittedly a little flimsy. Now come see me once you've collected the materials. You don't waste any time, do you? We're still setting up, but for starters we intend to offer a small selection of goods to our island residents. Space is limited, but we'll try and have some fresh stock each day. I'll have a look. I've got no money, but I will have a look. Oh, furniture. Oh, okay. Hazel does have a unibrow. Okay. Oh, Snow, it's great to see you. That campfire was a lot of fun. We're keeping resident services open at night, so feel free to stop by if you need to talk about anything. For the time being, I'll be out and about checking in with everyone, seeing how folks are doing. If you're ever unsure about what you should do, don't hesitate to stop for a chat. Right, question for everybody. Did we want to play a little hour of Zelda? Or we could just play Animal Crossing and yeah. I think that's 5. That was only 4. That's 5. I can count. Animal Crossing app, okay. Barry likes Animal Crossing apps. Found the necessary materials, Well then, let's get started on crafting that fishing rod. Yes. To begin, just select a project from the workbench and get started. Go ahead and give it a try. You're good vibing as is, okay. Yippee! I made a flimsy fishing rod. Yes, that was perfect. As you can see, crafting is quite simple, provided you have the correct recipes. That concludes my free DIY workshop. Ooh, there's just one last thing. I have a few common DIY recipes for you. Free of charge, naturally. I'll just need to send them to your Nook phone. Would you mind opening it up? Ooh. Splendid, thank you. The DIY app is now installed on your phone and ready for you to use at any time. The flimsy fishing rod you just crafted is yours to keep. It may not last forever, but it should serve you well for a little while at least. Speaking of fishing, I'm no master angler, but I can give you a few tips perhaps. Me, Lel, if you're talking to me, that's not possible with how I'm playing, bestie. But I do appreciate it. Yeah, I know how to fish. Okay. Yeah. Hi, Mimi. Hello. How are you, lovely? Oh, I don't have a tool wheel. Oh, this is going to be rough, isn't it? Absolute wounder. Hi there, Mimi. Hello. How are you, lovely? How's things? Right, I have not fished in this game in a while. Whee! Yes! I got a goldfish. It's worth its weight in fish. You're pretty good, good, good. I'm glad. Little stressed, but that's normal. I feel that, but I'm sorry that's normal. And I'm sorry you're stressed. Yes! I caught a horseback roll. Of course, mackerel. Oh, the puns. The puns are back. Oh, shit. Nobody say a feckin' word. Did I restart my island then? I'm on a new island, Mimi. That's what I am, yes. I can do that, Lal. I can do that. That's a big fish. Black bass, the most metal of all fish, guaranteed. Yes, a black bass, the most metal of all fish. Yes, I can do that, Lel. I can do that. Don't you turn your little fish back on me. I think I will. I'm probably going to do what I did last time, which is I'll time travel within the same day. So, like, if I stream at 9 PM each night, I don't want to always play in the dark. So I'll make it daytime, but it'll be within the same day. Yippee! What's that one? I can't remember. Does it begin with a T? No, yellow perch. If they do a new Animal Crossing, what do you think the gimmick will be? I don't know. Because I feel like now so many people associate it with deserted island, DIY, and like building, more than anything, building outside. Because I've, of course, only played New Horizons, so I've only ever played building outside simulator. I think the island will go. I feel like the island has to be this game only, but I don't know. I love the islands. Was it? Like placing furniture and stuff. This empty can could be repurposed. I've got an idea for a DIY. To get like to put furniture. Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, okay. People went mental. I went mental. Can make bridges and buildings and things in New Leaf. Okay. I think, yeah, now... Ugh. The freedoms that they gave us they can't take that away again. You couldn't do past terraforming outside furniture, yeah. I mean, you could do custom paths, couldn't you? But it was, like, not the same at all. Is it a C bass? I give it a C+. No, it's a olive flounder. I can't remember the pun for an olive flounder. That's not the pits, okay. Yeah, the paths that got made when you ran over. Oh, yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I remember hearing about that. A sea bass. I give it a C+. At least a C+. Oh no, thank you for your service, faithful flimsy fisherman. I imagine people must have been running back and forth to force paths. Probably. Trash tools, yippee! Thank you for the clown keyword. I appreciate that. So, have I got... Okay. Oh, I can get a net. Ooh, okay. Just remember that you couldn't control where houses went, yeah. Like, things like that, they have to get rid of that now. Right. How much are those? 480 and 300. But the thing I don't have yet is an axe. Oh, huge. Wait, no, sell the cherries, you melt. Get all the cherries and sell them. Who are my starting villagers? I already kind of forget. There's Sheldon. Sheldon and Cat. That's what their names are. They might be asleep, actually. That looks like no one's there. That's... Unless I can figure something out, Lel. No, I can't. I mean... All I've found so far from my research is if I was prepared to do certain things, I can get this save file on my Switch. I could do that if I, like, really needed to. What kind of fish I'm going to meet today? I hope they're nice. But, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that because that sounds scary. And Nintendo might find out then, and then they might do things to me. Oh, hello. I played the old games that I used to send all my villagers fruit in the mail in hopes they sent me a new one back. Did that ever work? I'd imagine respectfully not, but did that ever work? Well, once or twice. Ah, okay, interesting. Yo, Snow, that's what you found for me is just incredible. Thanks. I hope we can keep looking out for each other like this. It's good to have buddies, Cardio. Alright, I've got something here for you, Cardio. Thanks again for finding a place for my place. Oh, okay. This outdoor hat is perfect for Junipero. You can try it on by pressing A. Don't know if it was a strap, but it's all you had. Fair enough. Sick. I'll have that. Ooh. Oh, just chatting with them. Okay. I don't have a fishing rod, oh yeah. Right, we should do the thing, shouldn't we? Wait, if I turn it round, what does it look like? Yeah, that was better. No. I'm concerned that the olive flounder, no, is going to need a big one. A big container. Yep, it is. Okay. What are you hee-heeing, Berry? What are you hee-heeing? Ow, my nose. And then can I put the goldfish on the top? Yes. What's the Item 101 thing? It's just hints. I think it's on the loading screens. It like gives you a little hint. Whenever I accidentally show off the fish. I see, okay. This is new. It came later. I had it on my Switch. On my original save file. But yes, it was a bit new. Oh, there's more cherries. Okay. You didn't see anything, Barry. Nothing happened there. I would say I'll plant all these, but I haven't got a shovel yet. We lurking doing some chores. No worries, lovely. Right, how many sticks? 3 sticks. What do I need? Wait, what do I need for? Oh, just tree branches again. Oh, okay. Sick. Yes, you got this, Mimi. You got this. Ooh. 8. 9. 10. Wait, how did I have 100 bells? Where did my 100 bells come from? I don't remember. No, I'm keeping the acorns. And then I'll sell them. 2,050 bells! I'm so rich now. I want to tell you something about the fruit you just sold me. When you eat food like fruit, you'll find yourself energized with more power than you might have imagined. Has anyone shared that with you? What I mean is you could break open rocks or maybe dig up a whole tree if you had the right tool. Now it's fine for you to tell me your fruit, but you should try eating it once in a while too. What's for sale? I want that. Yeah. Yeah. And we're done. I hope you enjoy I hope you enjoy DIY even more now with your new recipes. Sorry, it took me a moment. Anything else look interesting? Yes, the other one. Yes, please. Thank you for the bells. Anything else? Nope. Thank you. Please don't hesitate to ask me for assistance. Woohoo! And then I've also got... Oh. Oh. I thought it would give me the tools like the axe and stuff. But no. Okay. Let's craft. Flimsy fishing rod, keep crafting. Flimsy net, lovely. Sick. Something else. Pick of the bunch. Ah, okay. And there's another one. Oh, wow. Yay, I'm a consumer. And I'm a seller. Right, that's it, okay. Okay. I think I'm slightly running out of things to do for today. So, I may stop Animal Crossinging here. And then either just yap on just chatting or do like the quickest bit of Zelda, but... Oh yeah. Whee! Saving. What is settings for this game? I can't remember. Hello. I'm done. Thanks, Tom Nook. Okay. I might do a cheeky bit of Zelda just because it's fun. And I like a bit of Zelda. Yeah. To get more to drink as well. My head, going for it tonight. What is that? What's happening at the top of my head? Wow. Ow. Sure. Sure, why not, hey? Let's go crazy. Okay. Oh, the music just stops. Oh, okay. I thought you were... I was leaving you with some nice tunes. But no. Okay. Let me... load up my other game on my other console. And we can play that too. This is a very normal thing for a Wii U to do. So, last time we did a shrine, we made a new friend. Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? I need to get to Kakariko actually, because I need to get another heart piece so I can get the Master Sword. Sooner. Oh, go on. Oh, thanks for coming to see me. You appear to have a bladed rhino beetle. Beetle loves bladed rhino beetles. Would you consider giving it to me? You get something in return, of course. How about I trade you this meat and rice bowl? Oh, and here I thought I knew what kind of person you were. No, it's fine. Beetle just isn't a very good judge of character, apparently. Anyway, back to business. I mean, I do need more arrows, to be fair. Sure. This may seem a little random, but have you got a hammer? be helpful. It'll be helpful to have one if you're going to collect ore. Some use explosives instead. It's really dangerous, but they still do it. Just please don't use explosives near me, okay? Okay. Bye-bye now. Oh yeah, these guys. I've got a scoop on Misko's treasure and it's great. Listen up, Dak. Listen, hang on. There you go, what's your problem? You aren't being incredibly rude and listening to our conversation, are you? We're treasure hunters on the trail of our latest score, the treasure of the great bandit Misko. It's as good as ours. Prison, you're going to give it all away. Sorry, Dak, I got carried away. Anyway, we're busy here, go. If you need something, take it up with someone else. You again. Pay no mind to my little bro's chatter from before. He's got a penchant for running his mouth with crazy talk. Well, I can't say I didn't try to throw her off. Why don't we just tell her? Maybe she'll leave us alone if we do. I mean, if we can't figure this riddle out, there's no way someone like her will be able to. Rude. That's a good point. We're after nothing less than the treasure of Misko, the great bandit. Finding it would mean incredible riches. I'm not about to give this information for free. I'm no fool. It's a keen sense of the strongest treasure hunter at work. No gold left behind. You're great, Dak. Be 100 rupees. Can I not even do it without giving them 100 rupees? Wait. Apparently I do, anyway. Alright, fine. Yeah. Fine. The little twin steps over the river. My cave rests above that river's source. Misko hid the location of the treasure in some kind of strange secret code. I heard this from a former dog walker of one of Misko's underlings' descendants' neighbours. As solid a lead as any. Just knowing someone with good info like that's exactly what I'd expect of you. Okay, well. Well, I'm going over here. Because I know where I'm going. Oh wait, there's a fish here, isn't there? No, there's a Korok here, isn't there? Under this thing. Oh no, treasure. Okay. Nice. Yeah. Right, so I do need to go over this way again. Can you stop? Do you want to not do that? Right, so I want to go this way-ish, this way-ish. No, I've lost it. And my angle's going to be so wrong. Oh, see if it works. Oh, it did. Nice. Okay, then somewhere here there's a shrine, isn't there? Though I do forget exactly where. There, that's where. I don't have bomb arrows. No. Okay. What could go wrong with this, hey? Nothing. Worked perfectly. Yippee! Ah, the camera goes weird with the cave. That's funny. Okay. What is this shrine? Oh no! Apparatus shrines? Not excited. If you could see how I'm actually moving the controller right now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No, 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 no. Perfect. God, you climb up it so slowly. Nailed it. Right, there's a chest on this block somewhere, isn't there? Why did it have to be motion? Why have you done this, Nintendo? My wrists don't move like this. That seems fine. Small key. Oh, I thought it was a treasure. But wait, then where's the actual... Oh, oh my god. Oh my god. Right. This is what I'm dealing with, okay? So I want to twist it that way, do I? Why are you going over there? I'm not moving the thing. Okay, it's exactly backwards. Yeah. Oh, if I move the chair, is that a strat? Rotate the chair, not the controller. Huge. Okay. But then, if this is where the monk is, where's the chest? The fun chest. Not like that. Like on the back of that one? Oh, it's on the back of that one, you sneaky game devs. So hi, Barry. Yes, I see you. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, okay. Sure. Did it. Found it. Ooh. Where's my shields? There. I want to keep the pot lid just for memes. That's probably stupid, though. I probably shouldn't keep the pot lid. Okay. Oh, it's gone anyway. Bye. Bye, pot lid. Ran out of stamina, yay. Nice. Okay. Is there anything? No, there isn't. There's absolutely nothing. Okay. Nice. What time is it? Okay. In game, I mean, not even in real life. Oh, stop it, Octorok. Wait, will I have stamina to do this? I didn't even think of that. Oh. Armored carp. Huge. Wait, are they black ones? Are they black versions of the orange fish? That's cool. They look like they're a different colour. Oh, I need Zora armour. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah, no, they are, aren't they? Ooh. Mighty carp. Okay. Yeah. Bye. Oh, this is going to be long, isn't it? Oh, Zelda, Zelda, Zelda. Ooh, I need more stamina and I need Rivali. So many silent rooms here. I wonder why. Nice. Spear, okay. Amber. Toast to truffle. Opal. That wall looks very normal over there. Ooh! Yes, please. I'll have a flame blade. Oh, it's a bear. Okay. Bear, you better chill. Just let me be on my way. Oh, slid off the thing. Whee! Well, that went very well. Absolutely steamed off. It's so nice here. Oh, that's cute. I'm gonna sit here until morning. Oh, sorry. Didn't notice you. I was a bit lost in thought there. I've been doing rigorous research day and night to figure out the mystery of that blood moon. You don't know it? That's inexcusable. Listen up and I'll tell you about it. For 100 years now, every so often when the clock strikes midnight, the sky turns red and a full moon rises. At that moment, monsters that had previously been defeated will come back to life. And that's what's known as a blood moon. Why do monsters return to life? Why does it only happen when the sky turns red? No one really has the answer to those questions. It's a mysterious phenomenon. If you learn anything about the blood moon as you travel, be sure to come back and tell me. What's tonight's moon? Tonight's moon will be a little smaller than yesterday's moon. It's really nice in its own way, really. Cool, okay. Welcome to our fine stable. Do you want to register a horse? Take one out. Wait, no. No. I want to take Shadowfax. So an actual blood moon several weeks ago. Ooh, interesting. There you go. Thanks for choosing us for all your horsey needs. I think it was in July. Ah. I think I saw one maybe this year. I don't know. I think I've seen one kind of recently. Maybe? I don't know. Oh yeah, there's treasure there, isn't there? It was legit red. Cool. Knew it was going to go down there. They're so cool, yeah. Oh yeah, no, we always think of Zelda. We had a supermoon semi-recently, did we? I might know that, or I might not. I can't remember. Oh, not with that one, not with that sword. No! Oh yeah, not that one. Oh. Don't really want that. Oh. There is a chest there. When you fall down that, it's so long to get back up though. So long. Okay, you ready for a first try throw? Bah! Sick. Are you ready for a first try throw? What the fuck was that? Okay, kind of sad about is across new crowds how you can't pitch a tent. Oh, permanently, yeah. That would be a kind of cool thing. Okay, first try. Zelda! Zelda! Don't do this to me. Can I? Oh, I can't do it while walking. Oh, I thought you could. Oh, that's fully on me. Zelda, what? Fuck. I think I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was pressing A instead of R because I'm just a fool. First try every time. Okay. Why didn't I use Cryonis? Why have I done this to myself? Okay, well. Could have gone worse. Whee! Let's go! I think we're about to see our beloved, aren't we? There he is! Look at him! Hey! Shakalaka! Oh no, Shalaka. You can see me? I can't see you. Shakalaka? Then how are you talking to me, silly girl? It's been 100 years since anyone's been able to see me. I'm Hestu, and I need your help. The monsters over there stole my beloved maracas. I think they're still on the other side of those rocks. I can't use my powers without them, so please, please get my maracas back from them. Okay, I'll do that for you, Hestu. Wet the... Okay, that's a problem. Why were they all there? Why are they that strong? Right. That's a lot of health I need to get through. And I have a strat for it. But it means I'm going to have to leave and come back. Probably. Yep. Nope. No. Sadness. Okay. Well, I'll take the horse. Please hold while I do this. This is very important. Is that a different Korok or is it the same Korok? Okay. Just had to check. I'm going to need a Korok leaf. There we go, thank you. Excuse me. Going through. Right. Let's be more strategic about this time. Huh? Just like that? Jeez. how does this work? Like that. And that works too. That might be a bit faster. Okay. So, I have a cunning plan. Which is... over you go. But it's really taking a long time to like wind up. Fuck you. Ow. Oh my god. Let me eat something. Sure. Like that. And that. Oh my god. Bye-bye. No shot. Really? Perfect. Sensational. Okay, first try as well, by the way. Pestu's maracas. He's been shaking them since he was 2 years old. Actually, I closed the door. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If anyone is trying to rest and then they heard my little gremlin laugh, I profusely apologise. Also, Berry, go to bed. Do I have it set up on the scene? I don't.
Go to bed.
There you go. Go to bed. Oh, good, you're not sleeping yet? Okay. Your job is attempting to fix your sleep schedule much sooner than you thought. Exactly! You said to me in DMs, you go to bed at midnight now. It's midnight now. Go to bed. Are those? Those are my maracas. Please give them to me. But wait, there's something wrong with my maracas. But it's Saturday. I know. I know. The Korok seeds inside are gone. How am I supposed to dance now? If I had just one Korok seed, I could sing, dance, and use my powers to help you. See, I have the power of inventory expansion, so let me know if you find any Korok seeds. The children of the forest must have taken the Korok seeds from my beloved maracas. I never thought I'd be the target of one of their pranks. But wait, do you have a Korok seed? You do. You've got a Korok seed from one of the forest children. If you give me just one Korok seed, I'll make your inventory bigger. What do I want to expand? Weapons, please. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go, friends. Oh. Oh, there it goes. Yippee! Weapon stash has been expanded. Yeah, weapons, please. Yes, please. Da na 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 na.
look at the time. I need to get back before Grandpa yells at me. Sorry, I have to go, but I still need Korok seeds, so bring some to Korok Forest if you find any. Done it. Okay, what I'll probably do, I will probably get to Korok Forest. I don't know if I'll go in, because I think Impa does yap a lot, doesn't she? Like, respectfully, I think she yaps a lot. So I might not do that now, at midnight. Oh. Because I don't know if I can be bothered. Yeah. Oh, I'll go to the goddess statue, that's what I'll do. Oh, I think it's loading the village, and it's struggling. You fit right in here. She would, yes. That's very true. Okay, horse can just stay there. Ooh. Ouch. Traveller, I'm sorry, but I seem to have twisted my ankle. Let's see here. Sorry you had to see me like that. Say, Traveller, where did you get that object hanging from your waist? Yes, I see. That Sheikah slate is a symbol. It means you are the Princess of Legend. Though there are few who know such legends anymore. We Sheikah have been waiting for you for a very long time. Please, before all else, I must insist you meet with our leader, Lady Impa. Okay. In any case, it was a real honour to meet you. I suppose you're used to that having lived as long as you have. You calling me old? Oh yeah, we have to go shopping as well. Clothes shopping. New clothes, new outfits. Our clothes are the tops. Right, 60, 120, 90. Also, though... Oh. Welcome to Enchanted, my high-end boutique. By the by, that stealth chest guard over there is highly recommended. While you wear it, your footprints are nearly soundless. Oh. Don't care. Oh, thanks. Whoever that was. Thanks, Mimi. Thank you. While you wear it, your footsteps are nearly soundless, so it's perfect for hunting and stuff. But offers very little defense, a small price for the extra stealth. Okay. Also, though, I will need to go and talk to the Great Fairy, but I might do that tomorrow as well. Not tomorrow, next time. But for now, let me get another heart piece. Heart container. Yes. Whee! Nice. I'm ever closer to my destiny. Good. Okay. I think I shall stop the game there. Okay. Let me find the music again. Yes, absolutely yes. Okay. So I hope everybody is doing well. I'm down to yap for a bit, but I've got no plans for yaps. I think that was making the mic. It was picking up on the mic. I'm so sorry if it was. But yes, honestly, Barry, this song might send you to sleep. If it does, I'm sorry, but it's so good. Oh, Bailey was live. Oh, I didn't know Bailey was live. Cool. Well, strictly to be fair, genuinely go to sleep. It's so okay. Go to sleep. We love this for you. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw someone, but I didn't. I'm sorry, I thought I recognised someone on Twitch. But you know, you can imagine you can do it. I love this from you, but go to sleep. It's okay. Go to sleep. Have your rest. You do deserve. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I might stream tomorrow. I'm seeing family tomorrow, but I might stream tomorrow evening, like I stream any other time of the day. I might stream tomorrow evening though. Yeah, I want to play some Layton tomorrow. I think because I put the poll in Discord, whatever I didn't stream today, I think I would have done tomorrow. But yeah, no, I want to do Layton because I love that game and it's real good. So, yeah. Hi, new person Blair. Hello. Hi, new person Blair. Absolutely. Hi, new person moderator Blair. But you know, normal things. I hope your island's gone well. New on your already mod. Speed running. Speed running. This is so rude. Barry, would you like to be mod? Would you like to be mod? Because I will mod you. I'm not afraid. But yes, I hope your island went well, and yeah. If you want the sword, Berry, you let me know. Oh, I had a thought and I have fully lost it. It'd be going slow, but you're too easy from the events of today. That's fair. I'm getting quite tired now. As we all know, I will have to go and eat an apple now. Once I finish stream, apple time. But yeah. This looks so good. You and your apples. I'm the healthiest person on Twitch, if you didn't know. I eat apples. Because I'm just good like that. It's so very specific. Hey, I like apples, and I'm trying to eat more fruit, and so I'll eat the fruit that I like, which is apples. And I eat them at night time. I don't know why, but I do. Yeah, a little apple just to send you to sleep. You know, just like, ooh, apple, ooh. You know, like, that's the thing, right? That's what everybody does. Apples are tiring foods, okay? Oh, if someone is currently lurking, I had a hot dog pizza tonight. Misty, what does melatonin do? Is that the one that sends you to sleep? I don't know.
Regulate sleep cycles. Okay, cool. Got you. Need to get a hold of some, what? Some apples or some melatonin? Because I think one is easier than the other. Thank you. I appreciate this growth from you, Mimi. I appreciate it. Oh, you meant hot dog pizza. Oh. Yes, you do also need to get hold of that. The thought didn't even occur. Melatonin would help. Felt. Oh, you know what I did this... Oh, I had a howler. So, at about midnight last night, I was like, I want to eat an apple. But also, it's very hot in my room. So I'll open my skylights, which are up there. I forgot to close my skylights, and I realised this at 7 in the morning when I woke up. Freezing fucking cold, because it's October in the UK, and I left my skylights open like a fool. So I got up, closed the skylights, and then went back to sleep again. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were very much made. I know. I have discovered this, Berry. I basically slept outside last night. You had to get another draft excluder. Oh dear. Oh, just I don't know where I got another from, sorry, but a draft excluder for your balcony door. Fair. No, I think the windows here are quite good when I actually shut them. Sorry, I read the word another in your message. I don't know where it came from, but a singular draft excluder, okay. Another one. Another one. You'll get up for work, be uncontrollably shivering. Oh no, because yeah, no, it must be early for you. Must be real early. Yes, Blair? Yes? Say more? What? Makes me want my cozy bed. Yeah, that's fair. Ew! Ew, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Blair. Oh, no. No, genuinely, Blair, Trump is on the front page of my Twitch, like, all the time now. Like, recommended channels, and I don't know how to get rid of him. But that seems very, yeah. There he is, Mr. Trump, right now. There he is. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, he's got 16.7 thousand viewers. Like, I understand it's a large stream. I hate that it's a large stream, but I understand that it's a large stream. But still, don't recommend me Donald Trump. Thank you. Can we raid Trump? I will not be doing that. No. Absolutely not. I'm going to go and raid Bailey. Because, no. You got the shitty shorts format for Twitch streams. I still don't, because I have still refused to update it, but I feel like my days are numbered. Because I can't watch stories anymore on Twitch. Because it's like, you have to update the app to do that. Even though it still shows up. And I feel like I ran into something else recently that it's like, you can't do it. But like now I just get no. I mean, I'm sure there are British people out there that like Donald Trump, is the unfortunate thing. Someone just play bagpipes. That's fair. I mean, they, as in British people, played a Labour, like a song famously tied to Labour while Rishi Sunak was stood there in the rain. That was amazing. Yeah, no, we can't do anything directly here. I feel like it's just the internet. It's like, yeah.
I was going to say something then. Oh, I don't think we have any really chronic TikTok users in the chat at the moment. But I've been getting like consistently TikToks of fucking British politicians playing Minecraft. Like AI generated British politicians play Minecraft together. You do as well? Oh my god. You're obsessed. No, yeah, Blair, they're actually like funny. Like, they're actually quite funny. But like, yeah, no, no, Blair, no, they are funny. They're like, some are real, yeah, because sometimes they like, they do a politics meme, they like reference events and it's actually funny. The humor's actually good. But yeah. But okay, I'm glad it's not just me then, because I was like, like, no, like, because it's AI generated with like the voices and stuff. It's them like roasting each other, but like in the way that you'll roast your mates. It's good. It's good content. I would play it now, but I'm not going to. But like, it's actually funny. I think I have some saved. Oh, that do it. I mean, I was going to look for them, but if you've got them like deployed, ready to go, you send them. You send them, because they're good. Locked and loaded. Okay. Good to know. I'm still on Gotham TikTok. It's so good. I'm getting like, because I think some of them must be old. It's not like there's fresh content all the time, but I'm getting like Penguin edits. I'm getting Riddler edits like every day. I'm just getting new ones, and it's like, yes, excellent. This is what I want from my For You page. I think I got the Batman one recently. Well, yeah. Right, Berry. I don't have you on TikTok. So I actually, if I want to send you a TikTok, I would have to download it and then send it on another platform. Do you want to add me on TikTok? Because that would make both of our lives easier. Okay, cool. Oh no, I've got people you may know. One of our co-workers has come up and I'm very much out on TikTok. This is a problem. This is a problem. I think I've actually like privated quite a few. I think the only TikToks that are up now are like mental health related and stream ones. It's gonna pause the stream. Oh god. Do you have a sus one? My TikTok is a variation of my Twitch handle, so you know. I dread to think what Berry's about to bring into my life. Oh, it took me a sec for this music, but no, I know it. I know it. Yeah, I was going to say something then as well. Oh yeah, unless I can get some work stuff sorted, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to work 8 days in a row starting from Monday. Okay, back from TikTok. Hi, back from TikTok. Yeah, no, I know. Not excited. But it's because I would potentially be doing a whole ass extra shift. So like an extra £40+. How much am I paid per hour? I can't remember. Because it's like not literally minimum wage, which is good. But then I can't just Google what my hourly rate is. So like I'm not complaining, but
I forget. Okay, don't do that. Put it in Discord or Snapchat. You have it memorized to the penny. Are we on the same one now? Probably not, because I've turned... Oh, wait, no, I think we are. I think we are now, actually, aren't we? I can't remember. Where it tells me, I don't know. I think they got rid of the bracket, yeah. Oh, I see it, I think. Do I see it? Why are there different amounts? That's weird. Okay, well anyway, if I do 8 days in a row, I'm gonna get an extra over £40, which is nice. So I could just do it, but ew. Ew. Oh, actually, what else I did today? I renewed the Minecraft server for another 6 months. If anybody would like to play Minecraft with me, please, so I haven't wasted my money. No, if anyone wants to join, you're welcome to, but like... I need to get back into Minecraft, but like... Yeah. No, I don't know. I've had a Minecraft era quite relatively recently. No, your PC won't be able to do it. That's so sad. Okay, I won't lie, I don't know who it is. I don't know to whom that character is very, but sure. I shall add you on the TikTok. Why is it auto-filled it? You know your thing's like 2 words. I've typed in the first word and the second one has like come up. Like, what? What? That's weird. Okay. Yeah. No, if the phones are listening, they actually are. They really, truly are. That message, absolutely, Blair. It's come up on screen, but it's not come up in my chat. That's weird. Oh, there it is. That was so weird. It didn't show up in my actual, like, OBS. Interesting, yeah. That one did. I'm so torn on this song. I don't know if I like it or not. I might give it a kick off the playlist. And also, last stream I found a way. Oh, there you go, play cute, that's where it is. Your EP, so EP time. Go to bed, bestie. Go to bed. I hope you have a great night. There we go. Just change the song a little bit, it's fine. But yes, have a great night, and we'll chat soon. Potentially tomorrow, because I'll probably go live tomorrow. Yes, that's what we'll do. So have a great night, and yeah, see you maybe tomorrow. But no pressure to, of course. Love you. Yeah. Oh, I had more things that I was going to say do. If you're going to bed as well, Pa, have a great night as well. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, you know what I saw like yesterday? I saw a YouTube video of somebody doing a tier list of all of the Gotham villains. And the video was like 30 minutes long. And you best believe I watched the whole video. Because yes. Like, fuck yes. Give me that. You won't be able to make it tomorrow because morning shift. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. But no worries at all. No worries at all. And yeah, I hope you, yeah, have a good sleep. Yeah. What? Sorry. I'm just looking at my own Twitch homepage. What the fuck is B-movie game? Jay, what are you doing? What is B-movie game? Have some chicken left from dinner. Oh, right, okay. First of all, you can't make fun of me and my apple if you have chicken at midnight. And you go to bed earlier than me. But, yes. Absolutely yes, do it. Cheap viewers on, suck your mum. How about that? Those bots are going crazy right now. I don't usually have chicken at midnight. Sure, I believe that. I believe that. Just for callbacks. Okay. Sure thing. Oh, summoning salts live. Sorry, summoning salt of YouTube video fame. Huh, weird. Cool. Are you having chicken now? Are you real happy now that you've got your chicken? Will be me with my apple soup. I really am. Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're happy. Right, I feel like I should end stream. I don't want to end stream because I'm having a good time, but I feel like I should end stream. And then stream again tomorrow. Yeah, okay. So we're going to raid Bailey. I don't know. We just be yapping. We truly just be yapping. Just yapping streams. Yeah. I don't know what I should do as a raid message for Bailey. Okay, no, I'm actually tired. I've become tired now. I was doing alright. I was really doing alright, and then yeah. I actually cannot think of a raid message. Okay. In that case, there you go. Raid message. I would have done a happy, funny one because it's Bailey, but... oh well, that's our raid message. Mimi, you can just copy that one. You little gremlin. So, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and raid Bailey. And, yeah, I'll probably see you all tomorrow. I'll probably yap to people anyway. And yeah, okay, that's what I'll do. So I will see you all tomorrow for probably some Layton, and yeah. Okay, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Bye. Long scene.
Squeak.